Hello there, and welcome to the Kirk Minahan wrap-up show for July 19th, 2021. Dominate me. So 10 minutes ago,
I didn't know about your new
Portnoy's tweet.
Before we do this quickly, congratulations on your new profession too as a dominatrix. I'm very proud of you.
Yes, thank you. We'll get to that in a second, but I just want to talk about. So 10 minutes ago, I'm getting set up for this. And I checked Twitter, and Portnoy tweeted out that Julie DiCaro is officially suing Barstool Sports and Kirk Minahan for my reading of the book on the Kirk Minahan network. So that is fun news.
So you gotta be named in this. I mean, because it wasn't Kirk that read it; it was one.
I have no idea. All I know is that she's going to lose, and it's going to be great. She's thinking she's going to get some easy money. Portnoy said he's never going to settle, so we'll see how this goes. But that's quite interesting.
You added to your resume yet? I think that's a good one. You got to add this to your resume. Like I think it was Highblind Mike that said it. It was.
I don't think hey, getting the company sued is great. Maybe it is. I'm not entirely sure.
You got a lot of good content out of Curtatone, and you got to do the victory lap once. You're giving another victory lap.
Yeah, I feel like it's like out with one lawsuit, in with another with Kirk. So I kind of like the idea now that Julie DiCaro is suing Barstool over reading a book on YouTube, which is absolutely asinine that she's able to do this. But we'll see where it goes.
Is being sued for giving her publicity to their millions of viewers of like just general audience target and the thousands that actually tuned in to watch you read. You were giving free publicity, and she is so mad about that she is suing. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. So we'll see where this goes. I'm sure Kirk already has a take that he thinks Curtatone had a better case than DiCaro did. So we'll see where this goes. But any other thoughts on this Julie DiCaro situation?
Because Kirk's 100% right. Because during that reading, you were giving commentary on the book. It wasn't a straight verbatim read. You veered off at points. You gave enough commentary to be in the parody law. You're perfectly fine with it. This is going to get laughed out. Kirk is right now 1-0 in court, plus all the appeals, so 3-0.
Oh God! You know what? I just realized that this is now going to be played in court to Portnoy, and me just fucking up all these names, and me fucking up. Oh my goodness! Well,
what was it? Signorvi, or how did you pronounce her name?
Signore or something. Oh Jesus Christ! So we'll see how this entire thing goes, but it should be quite. Jesus Christ! I just realized this is going to be fucking crazy.
There's going to be a court reporter stenographing in.
Harry Carey and all that shit. Well, we'll see how this goes.
I'm so excited.
So I don't know. Maybe we'll do a listen along tomorrow, sometime during the day, to the episode after the book reading. But it's going to be quite interesting to see how this goes. Oh God, she sucks though, doesn't she? Damn, I don't want to spend a year on this, but it's just fucking.
You're gonna get called in to testify.
Oh my God, this fucking.
Like you're gonna be taking the stand. We're gonna get another shirt draw. Like I want a blind mic rendition of Justin on the stand. That is what I need.
I'm gonna start losing weight if I'm gonna be fucking like on the stand or something. Oh Jesus Christ, I'm fucking. Whew. But no, I bet just like Curtatone, it was the statement of the sue, where I'm sure there are things misspelled and things like that. So we'll see how things go. But I don't know. It should be quite interesting.
I'm so happy for you. This is a big day for you, Justin.
Yeah. So let's get into the wrap up. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more talk of this on Wednesday's Kirk Minahan show. So we'll see everything that has to do with that. So today's show was called Dominate Me. It was because a caller called in and was very horny, so I had to get them off. It was awkward. I'm not great at phone sex. I've never claimed to be, especially phone sex with a man. I've never participated in that. So me and Dave actually recorded a wrap-up show after the show today, but apparently it sounded echoey or something like that. So he had to. So that's the reason why that's not up. But in it, Dave, Dave was telling me, he's like, oh, blah blah blah. He's like, you didn't expect to have phone sex today, and I was like, no, definitely not on the show. He's like, oh, have you had done this before? And I was like, I mean, yeah, it was just like over FaceTime or whatever. It wasn't anything like serious. And then Dave goes on like a rant about how like the youngins nowadays are masturbating left and right and everything like that. 1 second, I just gotta see.
Just notifications coming out. It was definitely a cringeworthy listen. I was nonstop laughing the entire time at the awkwardness. As someone who has heard other callers call in, and you had Kirk do it to people, you had Steve do it to people. Now it's your turn.
Mm-hmm.
And by far the worst out of all the three of you. And I think Kirk is right. You are a better YouTube host than Dominatrix, but you gave it your all. But you knew you were in trouble when you couldn't even save it in the Star Wars. So
yeah, well, I don't know, because I mean, the only Star Wars voice I can really do is Yoda, and I don't really want to do it in Yoda. It's kind of disrespectful to like the Jedi Master and everything like that. So it's just, I don't know. It's just
made up, Justin. You know that, right? You can disrespect the made up character. It's fine.
No, I mean, shut the fuck up before I kick you off. And no, it was just on the spot. It was just strange. I do think the call was very funny. I will be opening up a side business of, a dominatrix where maybe I'll do some online things, or, I'll come to your house for a couple $100 and I'll yell at you, or, make you shove bananas up your ass or something like that. So maybe that can throw a few dollars in my pocket, but it was certainly an experience today.
Yeah, it was a funny listen though. So I enjoyed that part. The calls I think got a little better today overall, which was nice. But the awkwardness, so at one point it sounded like just sheer fear in your voice of trying to be a dominator.
I wouldn't call it fear. It was just, I don't know what to say. Like just some guy going, oh, and I'm just like, shove your fingers in your ass and spread it apart. But when he started talking about like eating my shit, I was like, nah, that's too funny.
I was going to bring that up. Yeah, you said it was gross for him to eat his shit, but you told him to stick, and I quote, 3 fingers up his ass, spread them, pull it out, and
then taste it. Yes.
So that's the same thing.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
There's going to be remnants up there.
There's a difference between eating ass and eating shit, Andrew, and you know this.
Yes, but it's, I don't know. It seemed a little contradictory. That's all.
No, there's a difference between eating ass and eating shit.
It's not going to be.
Let's cut the shit here. Let's cut the shit, not to serve it, but let's just cut it. Just to get this over with. No, I eat ass. I don't eat shit. If someone ever wants to eat shit, get the fuck out of here. So that was I see. So when I asked, I had to drive Mike home after the show today. When I came back, I was like, oh, what'd you name the show? He's like, Dominate Me. That was the segment, the biggest takeaway from the show. And I thought a big takeaway was, that I thought beforehand, I'm going to do some more on this, but like Matt Carano is now the full-time producer of the Jerry Callahan podcast.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not a listener. There's not really anyone you could hire to make me a listener. If Kirk is ever on it, I'd listen, but it's just not my cup of tea. What are your thoughts? Do you listen to the Jerry Callahan podcast? Will the full-time hiring of Matt, help you? I mean,
I do listen. I don't listen. I don't nearly listen as regularly as I do at Kirk, but I do listen. They seem to mesh well for now. We'll see how long it goes. I'm happy for Matt. It's a good seems like a good opportunity for him. It was funny because I think it was like 16 minutes in, Jerry drops out for like a good 5 seconds, and Matt's like, oh, I think Jerry's gone, and then there he is back in the middle of a thought. That was kind of funny, but there's nothing really you can do to fix that unless be in studio. But no, it's a good listen. It's a good addition to the show, and it's, again, Kirk and Jerry are friends, or as friendly as Kirk wants us to know. So it's a good listen. It's fun, and if you're really into that political mindset that you don't get from Kirk, that's, I think, why a lot of people are attracted to Jerry, because a lot of Minifans in this world do have their strong opinions in politics, and who better to get in sports, politics, and revenge himself, Jerry Callahan.
Yeah, no, I'm happy for Matt. I'm glad it's a full-time position, and he's able to quit his other job to focus on this full-time. I think it's a great thing. But it was an interesting point that Kirk made, that he's now given pretty much on a platter 2 producers to Jerry. Meanwhile, Jerry, on the other hand, was like begging Steve to not join Kirk.
Yeah, and it kind of seems like, as Kirk even said in earlier episodes in 19 and 20, was that it just shows that Jerry looks out after himself. And it's just Jerry's going to try to do what's best for himself. And in the radio business, that's not a shock. And I think Kirk can recognize that. And it's still, they can have this kind of friendly relationship. And let's face it, there are a lot of people who went to Jerry's podcast because of all like the pumping up Kirk did for the months leading to it. So it's one of those things that it's Kirk at the end of the day. Jerry helped bring Kirk into this kind of Boston world. That's by having the established show with Kirk and Callahan and kind of coming into that. But Kirk very quickly made it his own and shown his skills to get himself right up to the top after. The popularity was brought in originally with Kirk and with Dennis and Callahan, but then Kirk took it to a whole new level just because of his stardom. So I think Kirk knows he wins this battle 10 out of 10.
Yeah, so it's just going to be definitely something to look forward to. I'm interested in seeing. I'm sure the Matt dynamic is going to be a lot different than Cullinane, and I know Cullinane listens to Jerry's show, so we'll probably get some good drops out of that. But speaking of, I guess, I wouldn't really call her an enemy. I just call her weird, like had a weird falling out. The Brandy Love situation kind of reared its head today. So she got kicked out of CPAC or some sort of conservative high school event because she's a porn star, which I agree with her that it's crazy that all these guys were blasting cancel culture. You shouldn't be able to, you should be able to eat what you want, drink what you want without like these companies, bashing you or kicking you out. And then they do the exact same thing to her. It's crazy. I will say it's just crazy when you think about why she stopped being on friendly terms with the Minifans and Kirk was because literally like the text line or whatever, or 617 report was like, hey, can you tweet out #Bruce to KMS? And she was like, absolutely not. Bruce is a disgusting piece of shit, staying on this country and all these other things. And then it was just done from there. So that's definitely just crazy. And then, it reared its head today with Dave going back and forth with her for 90 minutes. I'm not entirely sure what she needed to talk, what on her end, like why was she talking to Dave for 90 minutes, just shooting the shit if she wasn't going to come on. I think that's kind of funny, but it's definitely
share those texts out more and read the whole conversation. Yeah.
So
I would love to hear that back and forth just to see. And it is funny when she even said, I forgive Kirk, or like or Kirk doesn't have to apologize. Like Kirk did nothing. The only thing he did wrong was her being a Bruce Springsteen. It was Kirk being a Bruce Springsteen fan, which is nothing. It's you gotta love people who take things too seriously and are way too sensitive.
It's just funny because so she was upset that she got kicked out of these people who were preaching tolerance and canceling people. But then again, she is the one that won't talk to Kirk because he likes to listen to a certain guy play some music. So I don't know. It's just hypocrisy all around. And it certainly is something. So who knows? I'm sure it's just I think Dave said today that the final nail in the coffin was today of Brandy Love, and I think the final nail in the coffin happened months ago when she just wouldn't play along and she just totally shit all over Kirk and shit all over the Minifans. It was just not a great ending to it. So that's definitely just crazy. The Wendy Williams sound today was just weird listening to. I didn't hear this before, but it's just weird. It's like who? It's just like she's pumping them up like they just signed this guy or something. Like who's heard of him before? He has 2.5 million. It's like, yeah, he was murdered in cold blood on Monday morning. So it's like, Jesus Christ.
Talk about a good 180 fake out. You can't get a much. That's a prank call level fake out.
Oh my God. It was 100% a prank. I feel like the audience, like if I was in the audience there, I would have thought I was getting pranked.
Yeah, but it's daytime TV. You're gonna get your trash with that. So, hey, she's getting talked about. At the end of the day, it's a buzz. It's popularity. Now she's getting the views on this. I had no clue who that kid was. So,
neither do I. It sounds like he was a big TikTok star or something of that nature. But it's just crazy just to say like, oh yeah, like everyone clap if you've heard of this guy before, and then people clap. It's like, oh, everyone get up and dance, if you don't know this kid's dead yet. And then she just drops that bomb on him. So it was a little tough. But it was just funny just to hear. But I mean, thoughts and prayers go out to him and his family and all that fun stuff. But what did you hear about this Anthony Bourdain thing?
Yeah, so I followed it. I watched it, and it was just weird. I think overall, as like you kind of heard it on the show, it's just like a weird setting, and it's like a show that does deal with mental health and kind of openly talks about it. I think for this fan base kind of wishes you could have gotten more out of it, but it's interesting. But Kirk's right. It's like why they didn't do some things, and it's just weird.
It's weird if you replicate a man's voice like post-mortem,
especially
for something. It's just strange. It'd be one thing if like someone died in the middle of filming something, so you use CGI to kind of have him finish it, or what they did with Paul Walker and have his brother in kind of there. But it was just weird, just in total, just to hear that they kind of replicated his voice using technology. It's just, I don't know. But it did sound like Dave is reaching out to the producer of that documentary to see if he'll come on. So that could be something.
Yeah, and I think, but even to bring this to the Minifan world, how soon does someone start to invest in like audio software and start having people call in that sound like people?
Kirk just tweeted out, he said, show tomorrow to react to the stunning lawsuit. Justin trying to pronounce Sigourney will be heard in courts. Huge legal moment. So looks like there's a fun show tomorrow morning. So God, I'm fucking shocked about this, that this whole thing is, I don't know. It's just crazy. So
did you, Mr. Trudeau, in fact, say Sigourney Weaver? Was I really hope there's testimony. I really hope you get called in, and I really hope so. Like Barstool should be able to bring a camera in there. There should be someone that should be able to film this if they're with everything.
Yeah. So yeah, that's just crazy. It sounds like I'm gonna be doing another wrap up tomorrow to react to all this, and it's just crazy. I mean, Jesus Christ, what a crazy person. Just, fucking suing Barstool over this. What a fucking, she's whatever. She sucks. God, that book was fucking terrible too. But it's just crazy. So there was something on today's show that was brought up that Kirk mentioned that he said like he feels bad. Like he said like he can yell at Mike all day, he can yell at Dave all day, yell at Jared all day, blah, blah, blah. He can yell at pretty much everyone. Except when he yells at me, he's afraid that I'm going to go and kill myself, and he doesn't want me to do that because it would hurt his career. And I completely get like why that would be a bad look for him if I did kill myself, like right after he berated me. I will say there's a big list of reasons why I would kill myself. Being yelled at by Kirk is not one of them. I'm not going to kill myself because of that. I mean, it's just I can take being yelled at and shit like that. So just want to put that out into the world. There's many reasons, this life will come to an end. Kirk Minahan is not one of them. So to anyone who reached out or, thinks that Kirk needs to reach out to me or treat me on some AAA level, just it's not true. So
were you surprised when he called? Like, were you surprised?
I was driving back and yeah, I was just kind of like, I just thought he was calling just to see what we're doing, to give me a heads up, maybe tomorrow, or maybe something happened and coming back in or doing something. I wasn't entirely sure, but yeah, no, it was fine. I mean, I wouldn't say I was surprised by it, but it's just the way it is. But yeah, no, don't worry, Kirky. I'm not going to kill myself. So
that's always good. Because hey, you can't now because you're a witness. You have a lot of responsibility.
Oh, let's get this straight, Andrew. I very much can. let's not don't tell me I can't do something. I very much can. It will not because of Kirk. So speaking of killing and things of that nature, David Ortiz is doing a podcast with Jared Carrabis. Isn't that exciting?
He looks like a little kid in a candy store in that video when
Yes.
he comes out. Jared is so happy. This is the ultimate Jared piece. I can see why he was so happy about this secret project. It's good for him. And I think Kirk handled it the best way he can. It's like he's like, it's not for me, but hey, good for you. You're getting something that you want that he's gonna make. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be successful. The Section 10 fan base is big and it's loyal, not as loyal as the Minifans, but it is a loyal fan base. And they'll follow him right to that. And I'm sure with Ortiz, you'll have more of even a national growth. So good for Jared.
So, yeah, I mean that seems exciting. I'm happy for Jared. I'm more happy for Jared than like excited for the podcast. It's like, Jared's doing a podcast with his hero. Like, good for him. That's pretty fucking cool. I have no interest in it. I'll listen to it to see if there's anything to cut up or things of that nature. When Kirk was talking about having David Ortiz in studio, I don't know if he was serious or not. It just seemed like he was, but then like you think about it, like would David Ortiz come to Boston to do the Kirk Minahan show, or would David Ortiz tell like, yeah, he would do that, but would he also say like, so here's a list of questions you can't ask? Because Kirk's not going to. You can't give Kirk a list of questions he can't ask. If anything,
Kirk is going to be like, so let's talk about the shooting. Like we know that's going to. Kirk would want to talk about it. I hope so. I mean, it's definitely a weird dynamic to think about too, especially now with like kind of how Jared on Fridays. It's how is it going to handle and even what was Kirk's relationship with Ortiz when he was in the Boston media? Like, I
think he said he was very friendly.
Yeah.
But I don't think he has like, I don't know if he ever interviewed him or anything like that. I would need to look that up.
Yeah. But, I hope it happens because I think it would be interesting to listen to, but which way would it go? And you're right. If Kirk has said, I can't ask these questions, he's like, why the fuck are we doing this? And then you get freak out again, like on the Kelly Martin proportions. So,
So we'll see how that goes. It starts up next month. I'm happy for Jared. The name of it is so strange though. I like love it on like a cringy level, like call him Poppy. It's just a spin on Call Her Daddy. It's like, we get what you're doing there.
Are we going to learn more about Jared's analingus in this thing?
I don't think so. That'd be great if David Ortiz started talking about that. Like he sits down, he's like, so have you fucked Andrea yet? And things of that nature. I think that'd be great. But something tells me probably won't be. But yeah, that about does it. Sounds like there's going to be an emergency episode tomorrow. I'm not entirely sure what time. I'm going to assume 10 o'clock. So we'll be watching that. I'll be there cutting up clips and doing all the sound. So yeah, so this Julie DiCaro sound is breaking. Good thing we pushed this off until 6. Otherwise we would have completely missed this. So.
Yeah, no, this was a good break and congratulations again. And look, you got your clout's going up a little bit now. And hey, you became more valuable. You just became more valuable, even by a penny.
Yeah, more valuable because I read a book that Kirk told me to read. It's just, I don't know. This whole thing is fucking crazy. What a world we live in. It's just
think about this. You were getting berated last week for your mini golf ideas, and now this is a win for you. This is it's definitely exciting. I will say this is a top 5 moment of my life. Getting sued. Having Barstool Sports be sued by Julie DiCaro is a top 5 moment of my life, and you can quote me on that, Andrew. That's a fair quote.
That's a fair quote.
I just saw what was it? I saw on Twitter, Team Player 12. The Justin deposition is going to be the greatest piece of content that this show's ever created.
Well,
you are getting
the thing is
you are getting.
What were you saying?
You're gonna get deposed. You, Kirk, Steve, because Steve was still around. So yeah, it's all. Oh, we get the.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just gonna be. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Anything else from today's show or looking forward you want to hit on real quick before we wrap this up?
No, it was a good listen. It's now that I have a nice drive back from work, so it's a good way to finish it off on my ride home. Good. Practice your dominatrix skills, and maybe you can get a very popular OnlyFans from Barstool.
Yes, so we'll see. We'll see if that gets going. Thank you to everyone for listening. Thank you to Kirk, and we will talk to you tomorrow, I guess.